Hello, this is Angelia with today's wisdom. Today's wisdom comes from Daily Ohm, Cherishing You, falling in love with yourself. And we're not talking about being a narcissist. There's a difference there. But you should love yourself because you are the first person, that you come across in your life. You wake up with yourself every day. So you should love yourself because if you love yourself, then you can love others. As the old saying goes, you can't pour from an empty cup. Many people, in seeking out love, tend to look outward rather than inward. And that, leads to broken hearts and, bad relationships. You need to look at yourself and love yourself. And it's like I told, some of my coaching clients, a person can be a part of your life, but they can't be your life. And if that's the case, that's not a healthy relationship. Yet falling in love with yourself can be just as wonderful an experience as falling in love with someone else. It kind of is. I was probably, 12 before I had any self-esteem at all. Cousin was not allowed in my family, there's always somebody better than you. No, you're not that good. You're not that, good looking. And then there was no self-esteem allowed. So, while the idea of falling in love with ourselves may be perceived as conceited or selfish, and some people feel that way, and there's a difference. Again, if you're conceited, you think you're all that in a bag of chips. Again, selfish, it's all about you. I know some people who are like that. It's all about them. Nobody else matters. And then they wonder why they have problems in their relationships, getting along with folks. Hello. Choosing to fall in love with who you are is a powerful act of self-love. Now, that doesn't mean you just excuse everything. That's just the way I am. That's not what that means. There are people who do that. Loving yourself means being good to yourself, taking care of yourself, not saying bad. There's a lot of folks out here say, bad things about themselves all the time, and you don't do that. If you feel like there's a weakness, work on it, make it better, but don't sit there and badmouth yourself, because then you're putting that in your own brain. It's bad enough when other people say bad things about you and put that in there. Don't say bad things about yourself, because then you're putting that in your own brain. And you're going to listen to yourself more than you are other people. When you fall in love with yourself, you can't help but experience a wonderful sense of discovery because you realize you are okay. That who you are is who you are. And, you need to love yourself and take care of yourself. You begin to look at yourself again through fresh eyes, becoming more attentive to the little details that make you so unique. And we're all unique. And there's little things about us that make us unique. I've had people make fun of me for wearing like ball caps, but it's like, okay, and when in 40 degrees, my head gets cold, my ears get cold, and I want to get sick, so yeah, I'm wearing a ball cap. People make fun of me for wearing breasts sometimes, but it's like, I don't care if you think breasts are for little girls. They sell them in women's sizes, they sell them in the hair section, so there are some women wearing them, and I like them. I think they're pretty and cute, and I'm going to wear them. I don't care what you think about it. So, everyone has their own opinions, but you are who you are. And if you like doing what you like doing, as long as you're not hurting anybody else or yourself, then by all means do it. Once you discover how much there is about you to fall in love with, you can't help but want to treat yourself as lovingly and respectfully as you would treat anyone who is special to you. And if you think about that, you are the most special person in your life. Because if you weren't there, you wouldn't be there. You know what I'm saying? You should treat yourself the best. Again, back to the you can't pour from an empty cup thing. You start to give to yourself more because you become more attentive to your own needs and desires. And we all have needs, And if you ignore your needs, then eventually that's going to come back to haunt you. Whether it be you're not eating enough, you're not exercising enough, you're not taking care of your emotional needs. That's a big one. If you don't do that, it's going to come back on you. Trust me, it will. And the things you want in life. If you're not going for the things you want in life, you're going to be a sad little person. And that's a shame, because we all have things we want to do in life, and we should be able to do them. Choosing to fall in love with yourself is a very personal process that takes time, especially if, like I say, you were not allowed to have any self-esteem growing up. You were, put down all the time. It might be hard for you to think, or, you might have been hard on yourself, and it might be hard of you to think as a worthy person of your love. But you need to do it. You need to work on it. You need to do it until you realize that you are, worthy of your own self-care. There is no magic wand you can wave to make this just happen. Wouldn't it be nice if anything in life was like that? But there is the magic of your intention and the power of your actions. I believe that God probably looks at intentions more than he looks at actual stuff. What was your intention behind it, the action? He knows whether you were trying to do a good thing or a bad thing. So, intention, you can set your intentions every day, and you can look in the mirror and you can say, hey, I love you, and I'm going to take care of you, and I'm going to do the best I can for you, and that will give you a good feeling, like I say, I work with some people doing some inner child work, and, I said, I've heard from other people and everything, you can be your parent, you can be your own best parent if you didn't have parents who were good to you. So, and by that I don't mean just taking care of you, I mean actually good to you. So, whether you are taking the time to do the activities you like, and you should find time in your day, actually, I'm not going to say find time, you have to make time. You'll never find a time. So people, I can't find the time. Well, you have to make time. You have to set the intention. I'm going to do this at this time and this day, and then you have to do it, because otherwise you probably won't. Speaking to and treating yourself with respect, like I say, don't talk bad about yourself. Treat yourself with some respect. You deserve respect from yourself. Taking inventory of all your wonderful qualities and accomplishments. And we all have qualities that we like about ourselves, and accomplishments. And if you suffer from low self-esteem, that might be something you can journal on at night to talk about what are the good things I like about me, and then just don't write down any bad things you don't like about yourself, until you start feeling good about yourself. And then once you feel good about yourself, you can come back and say, what are the things I don't like about me? And then you can work on those things if they really bother you. And accomplishments, we all have accomplishments. And you can, write those down and remember those. It's like, I did this, I did that. I got this award, I got this prize, I graduated from here or there, or, whatever, I got this promotion. So you all have accomplishments, and you should, give yourself a little pat on the back for that. Or nurturing yourself with plenty of rest. And sometimes I have to do that. Sometimes I'm just so tired, and I'm just dragging through the day, and I'm like, I just can't, I need a nap. And I hate doing that, because then, you all who really know me know that, I like to get a lot of things done, and it makes me happy. So, I've had people say, oh, you're just trying to, not deal. No, it actually makes me happy. So, and self-care. Again, you got to take care of yourself. You got to take care of your personal hygiene. You got to take care of your health. You got to take care of eating right, and getting some exercise so you don't turn into a blob. And, again, take care of your emotions and your relationships, and, you'll see your life start to get better and better. When you fall in love with yourself, you begin to see yourself more positively. And, that's a good thing. Because, like I said, if you feel negative about yourself, that's going to affect everything in your life. You need to realize that you are a good person, a worthy person of your own respect. And, think of yourself in a positive way. Appreciate your unique outlook on life. And we all have that. We all have a way that we think, things should be going and everything. And, we all have ways that we deal with our life. We all have adaptive habits. And, like I say, everybody's different. And I kind of like getting to know people, and getting to know their little quirks. I like little quirks in people. I think that makes them more human, instead of people who try to be perfect, and it's like, you have no personality. You're who people, tell you should be, you're trying to be like everybody else. I want to see, you do something weird. Then I know you're normal. And treat yourself in a more nurturing way. Like I said, even if you didn't get the best nurturing growing up, you can nurture yourself. You're your own best parent. In loving yourself, you are acknowledging that you are special and deserving of love. And this is true. You are special and you are deserving of love. Everyone is, unless you're just a horrible evil monster. Most of us are not that. So take care of yourself. Love yourself. Because sometimes that's the only person who is going to love you is you. That's a shame in life sometimes, but sometimes that's the way it works. Best of all, you are giving yourself one of the greatest gifts you have to give another. Because, if we think about, falling in love with someone and how we're giving ourselves to them and everything, that's the best thing you can do for yourself, is to love yourself and give yourself to yourself. Give yourself permission to be yourself, Don't worry about what other people think and say about you. Because, as the saying goes, what other people think about you is none of your business. So, you are giving yourself the gift of your love. And that's the best gift that you can give yourself, is to love yourself. So, if you're not really cherishing you like you should, fall in love with yourself. Become your own, and I'm not saying weirdness here. There are people who's probably thinking weirdness, but because it crosses my mind. So when I say love yourself, I'm talking about, there's a Bieber song, but I'm saying take care of yourself, respect yourself, treat yourself like you would someone that you love, because you should be loving yourself. Think about it. Please like and share this wisdom so we can spread it around the world. If you want to help me out, subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you want to help me out even more, go to my Patreon page and become a patron. Thanks for watching. That's all for now. Until next time.